Stories inspire and empower action more than anything else. There's a quote from Jesse Cole in Fans First. I think Jesse and I are sort of very similar. I love his style and he thinks that stories are key. So, coming to you today from a destination that I've been wanting to go to for decades. Dad told me all about it. He's beaten me multiple times, and finally, thanks to Global Speedway Tours, we are finally here at Knoxville. As you can see, it's the sprint car capital of the world. There are thousands and thousands of people out there today. It's a 4-night event. We're on night 2. And just hearing stories has been so inspiring whilst we've been here. My dad has introduced us to so many amazing people. Every time he walks somewhere, he'll see someone he knows. They know him over here. He brought a gentleman by the name of Dave Argabright to come and speak to us at lunch yesterday. He's like the Bruce McAvaney of motorsport in America. He's a video personality. He's written he's a TV personality. He's written multiple books and he loves Dad, so he came down and spoke to us and told awesome stories. We've met people in bars, you know, in the bleachers, and you know, the stories have flowed. And I think we all agree, stories sell. Stats are great, but stats stink, I think, really. Ultimately, stories are what we buy into here. And sometimes the stories get a bit embellished as you go through, but I just love that we can just protect the integrity of these stories and continue to pass them through from generation to generation. But you need to know your story's powerful. It's extremely powerful. Everything you do adds up to greatness. So I'm going to go in there right now and show you a bit more of the track and talk a bit more about some of the stories that have inspired me on the journey so far. So there's the track in there. It's a fairground, and 2 days ago Dad introduced Junior, myself and Tim to a guy by the name of Randy Kinser, who's quite famous, and if you know Speedway you'll know the Kinser name. And we were talking to Randy in that shady pub over there, and one of his friends said, you know, you're meeting the most talented Kinser right there. And for those that know Steve Kinser, he is unbelievable. He's like the Michael Jordan of Speedway. He's won 12 of these Knoxville Nationals. But he said that Randy, they told me Randy, he was the best. And you know, Randy always kind of lived in his brother's shadow, but didn't quite have the same opportunities that Steve had. But what really inspired me about listening to Randy's stories was that the Kinser family tree is enormous. And it was that he got more of a thrill and excitement out of seeing his nephew, Steve Kinser's son, Craig, win at Knoxville a few years ago. And you could tell that he was quite emotional when that happened. And he never won Knoxville. He was, you know, a very good driver. But, you know, that family, the bloodlines through the Kinser family, it was just so evident. And how much he loved his brother, but also how competitive he was with his brother as a racer. And, you know, at the end of the day, they're both here right now. They are retired. They're just living their life. But you know, they went hard, but they went fair. But they were focused on the family values. And you don't mess with the Kinsers. So here is the Wall of Champions. And if you look up here, you'll see Steve Kinser's name 12 times. So Steve, in 1981, won his first Nationals. I'm just going to tell you one more story, which I love, that Dave Argabright told us. Someone asked him about technology and how he thinks that's going to help or hinder the future of motorsport. And I think people would agree technology is great, but it takes away the human element, doesn't it? Human skill. You can be a good technical driver, but may not have the intuition and the automaticity that it takes to be an amazing driver. But with technology, you can lessen that. So he doesn't like it, okay? And he spoke about how one day Steve Kinser had an accident at a track, hit the wall, his chassis was just bent, way out of shape, and they looked at the chassis, and after the race meeting they had to dump it, they threw it in the bin. They said it's unfixable. And his shocks were all out and whatever, you know. I don't understand racing, but he was talking about an equivalent driver on the same day. He was complaining, hey, he thought he could be a great driver one day, but he couldn't quite get his shocks set up right, you know, the suspension. But Steve didn't worry. He didn't get bitter, he got better. He got solution-minded. He thought, hey, okay, how can I? He had a winner's mindset, had a growth mindset, and it turned out that he went from the back, he hit the fence, and they put him at the back of the field, and he went through and he won the race in a car that most people wouldn't have even driven, let alone won a race. and he won it because of his mentality rather than his, the equipment, I guess. And so I hope that we don't ever lose that. I hope that intuition, that thinking can be passed on through generations, particularly on a health sense. And if it's all automated for you and you don't quite understand how it's done, much like doing a hand journal, a handwritten food journal, then I feel like we're not empowering you to own your own health story. So I've been here now for almost 3 weeks, and you can see I haven't really had much of a shave here. I be weighing myself every day, I'm doing my steps every day, I'm listening to audios every day. Certainly having a bit of fun with family, and I don't regret that. But my worst practice habit is to stay in the game. And because I'm empowered through that automaticity that I learned through doing cycle upon cycle of the program effectively. So this value of empowerment, it really is my favourite value. I got to say, I love family first, but empowerment is key. And if you can empower someone to own their own journey, then that is our work done. All right, but don't want you to underestimate the power of your story and what it can do to inspire and get someone else into action. All right, don't underestimate that. I've just told you a few random speedway stories. Let's hear from you. I want to know what are some of your health stories that you can share that you think might inspire other people to get into action and help us to continue to create a healthy world.